In the back table there's a whole bunch of water bottles. They are courtesy of the Department of Environmental Protection. So if you want to grab a water bottle, please do.
No, it's not water. It's just a reusable bottle.
I make sure I check that on that.
So the 3 boxes, that's 3 disposable boxes. That's a sign. That you would do that when you always do it. Oh, you did it on the shoulder.
Good idea.
Slideshow, well, you don't want it now because you have your.
Yeah, so we'll do that stuff.
Yeah, there you go, yeah, so you just minimize it.
Oh, I have something I can put in when I go to the store.
Oh!
There's a vengeance. One or two neighbors they weren't that welcoming.
Discouraging people.
Long time no see, I see you.
10 months.
Yeah. You went to a while ago.
Good.
So it's just one of the boys. Hi.
You know what, I can't wait.
Yeah. So, instead of your Boy Scout, you would have sailor.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So you have a, what is it called? You have the whole thing. Instead of going to the woods, without water, seaweed. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. Grilled with the steak M1. Yeah, grilled fancy grilled. But that went away.
Mother-in-law, that's, okay, that's, I just said the mother. She lived across the street from me. She passed away at 105.
And the funny thing is, that was his village role. You know what I mean? It was about the we did
Then when she was sick, how many times she gave me a key? She would call me, let her go, while my husband would run the town.
But that was
Yeah, you know,
you know the old
when we were done, the house that Donna said, the house that Donna said,
in the book, shoot it against the wrist. At an exact it's one of those stones. So we
Hi, Ron, I got a question for you. A couple people were complaining that it was inside the market. Is there a fan or is this a AC?
But it along the same theme, so, you know. Yeah. Huh? We didn't think of it. That's what makes the exposure. Because it's always
I don't know if this will help much. Okay, I'm gonna turn my voice on.
I thought maybe it was, or maybe
Aha. We have a fan. It's a little warm here, so hit the on switch. See if that helps. Plug in. Hi, this is Anna. She's from Mount-Sinai Hospital. DP.
Okay, very good.
And
This is trouble toothbrush. And easy, right?
Okay, if I sit around here? Sure. I guess it's really silly. I don't know
Test. So everyone, I just wanted to thank you for coming down to our meeting. I just got a call from Brooklyn Harvest. They are leaving now. They had a little warehouse emergency, but the food should be here in 10 minutes. I know that's the main reason you came, so. So, you guys can all go home now if you want. So anyways, take this time, to meet and greet each other. Like I always say, that one of the points behind creating this association was to start to build a sense of community in our neighborhood. And we have a lot of different diverse areas, and we all want to start to work together in order to improve the quality of life of our neighborhoods as much as possible. So, and I'm going to start that off like I always do with everybody introducing themselves. We'll start the process now. I'm sure that you'll smell when the food comes in.
Hello everyone, I am John Rivera Cortez. I am the recording secretary for Old Astoria Neighborhood Association and also a freelance journalist and photographer.
Good evening, my name is Robert Olivari. I'm with the Department of Environmental Protection.
Hi, my name's Art. I've lived in Astoria for half a century, but I've only recently moved to the western area of Astoria. I lived in central Astoria for like most of my life with 3 generations of my family. So this is like a new area to explore.
Well, can you hear? Everybody here is okay?
Good evening. Gildo Spadoni, born and raised in Astoria, Queens. Citizen tree pruner, president, board member, Queens World Film Festival, board member, Blue Bus Project, historical advisor and artifact contributor, LaGuardia Wagner Archives, patron of Museum of the Moving Image, Astoria Park Alliance, friend and member, board member, Long Island City Arts Open.
Dennis Fitzpatrick, neighbor. I've been here 30 years.
Rosemary Fitzpatrick, born and raised in Astoria, and I'm a marketing consultant.
I need you.
Hello everybody, Neil Hurton, co-chair of Friends of Whitey Brookfield, and I've lived in Astoria 30 years in the same place.
I am Jeremy Sara. I'm the manager at Astoria Library. That's what's right over here.
I'm the new manager. I'm the new manager.
I'm Erica. I live on 27th Avenue and I'm a carpenter.
Hi, Sean Donnelly. I live on 25th Road. Been in Astoria about 15 years and recently opened a coffee roaster called Mighty Oak on 24th Ave.
My name's Angie McCormick, and I'm a Astoria Park Alliance volunteer. Oh yeah, and I'm helping out with Shorefest, which the Astoria Park Alliance is doing on September 21st. It'll be awesome.
Hi, Dory Kokoris. I'm an Astoria native. I'm a Astoria Park Alliance board member, and that's it. I have more, but I'll save it.
Hi, I'm Kathleen A., longtime resident of Astoria, and just love it here.
I am Mohammed and I'm a resident of Astoria.
I'm Nicole McLeod, Astoria Park Alliance volunteer.
Everybody here?
Hi, Yanni Tritas. I also volunteer with the Astoria Park Alliance.
Hi, Rosemary Martinez. I'm a lifelong Astoria resident, and I work for the Department of Health in Long Island City.
Hello, I'm Wally Martinez. I'm also a long-time resident, born and raised in Astoria, and I work for Section 8 HPD.
Hi, Frank Miller. I'm a member of the board of Central Astoria Local Development Coalition.
Hi, I'm Jamie Bean. I'm a 10-year resident of Astoria, and I run the Business Improvement District in Sunnyside.
My name is Doros Evangelidis, and I live on 19th Street and 24th Avenue. I'm not here for the free food. Oh, there's no food.
Hi, my name is Linda. I've been living here for 20 years, 114th Street.
My name is Arthur Johnson, and I lived in Astoria for a long time.
Patrick Buisson, I live in Astoria for 12 years, and I'm a homeowner on 12th Street.
My name is Jamie. I've been an Astoria resident for 12 years.
My name is Wael. I've lived in Astoria my whole life, and I work for a Septmeber. Arabella Simotis.
My name is Nick Rollison. I'm an Astoria resident, and in my day job, I serve as Chief of Staff to Councilmember Constantinides.
Bonjour tout le monde. Hi, my name is Dominique. I've lived here most of my life, all my life, over 50 years. Longtime resident and owner of a beautiful 1901 home that I love. I'm a self-proclaimed expert on the history of Astoria.
Hi, my name is Jeanette. I lived in Marine Terrace, Astoria for 38 years. I am a deacon on Greater Consistory at First Reformed Church of Astoria on 12th Street, and I'm glad to be here.
Hi, Rosalie Molika, longtime resident. Anita Ned, longtime resident. We're from 30th Road.
Yes. 30th Road, block party.
Next year, I will invite you to the block party, okay?
Too. These guys all.
Okay, no problem.
Even though it's not your day.
I'm Diane, a longtime resident of Astoria. My sister and I own a three-family house. I'm renovating an apartment, so if anyone's interested in a one-bedroom, let me know.
Hi, Ferry.
My name's Ashley. I moved to Astoria about 2 months ago. I'm really excited about it. And I'm a graduate student of journalism at CUNY.
Hi, my name is Justin Potter. I'm from Court Square.
Hi, I'm Stacey Rodriguez. I moved to Astoria about a year ago, but my family opened a business in Astoria / Long Island City about 30 plus years ago, a contracting company. And I'm an applied mathematician with a slant in real estate development.
Hi, my name is Cheryl. I've been a resident of Astoria houses for over 50 years, and I work for the Department of Education.
My name is Brenda Pope, and I'm a resident of Astoria since 1990.
Good evening. My name is Cynthia Davis, and I am the Director of Community Outreach for the Floating Hospital, who has been around for 152 years. Clarence Colgreen.
Hi, good evening. My name is Sylvia Ibanez. I'm the community liaison for the Floating Hospital.
Hi, good evening. My name is Ana Rodriguez. I am the Director of Community Relations, Volunteer Services, and Patient Advocate Department at Mount Sinai, Queens. I am happy to be here, and we'll talk some more later.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Jones Hall. I'm a member of Astoria Houses. I am a Community Board Member 1, Vice Chair of Housing Committee, as well as on the Environmental Committee, and I love where I live.
Hi, my name is Tamika Anthony. I'm a new business owner here in Astoria, and I'm also a forensic scientist and toxicologist. 1202 Astoria Boulevard, the red building. I have the commercial space on the first floor. I have, it's a homeschooling program for children. It's on the corner? Yes, yes, exactly. No, I'm on the first floor. So I have a homeschooling program for children after school, summer camp, and I also rent it out on the evenings and the weekends.
Hi, Mark Goldberg. I just moved back to Astoria, so I'll be annoying you tonight with my camera flash. And I'm a photographer, filmmaker, and I think some of you saw my presentation about a year ago on my film Life is L, living and working on and around the elevated train tracks in New York City, which, yeah, so we have some new material I'll be getting from the Astoria Boulevard construction.
Good evening, Basil Gavalas, Ecclesiarch for Holy Protection Cathedral on 12th Street.
and 43-year resident of Astoria.
My name is Victor Prado. I'm one of the volunteers here at Family Church right here at 18th Street. I'm on the pastoral care team and one of the volunteers for Richard's OANA as well.
Hi, Antonella. I sit with Vanessa on the Community Board Environmental Committee. Hey. Oh, I'm going to pass it around.
No.
Okay, so who did I miss? Who came in, who did not introduce themselves? I know there were some people that didn't. Okay, right here.
Hi everyone, my name is Liz. I'm a 21-year-long Astoria resident.
Hello, my name is Raphael. I'm with the Department of City Planning.
Anybody else? Okay. Well, we're still waiting on the food, but actually, I think we're lucky because as a first course, we have the top course. Our first presenter is here, so we'd like to welcome Deputy Inspector Osvaldo Nunez from the 114 Precinct. Thank you for coming. Okay. And I guess we can start now. What we'll do is you can discuss whatever you'd like to present, and then we will go for questions. So why don't we start with this mic here, so I can go up.
You want to give a crime overview first, or you want to do a crime overview?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here you go.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I want to have thanks to Rich for inviting me. Unfortunately, I don't make these meetings as often as I'd like to. We do have one main meeting, the 4th of every Tuesday. It's our precinct community council meeting. So if you want to see me, you can come over every 4th of every Tuesday to Ricardo's on 21st Street. Again, 4th Tuesday of every month at 7 p.m. I try to make as many community meetings as possible, but that meeting I am always at because it's the one main meeting with the community. So I'll give you a quick crime overview of what's going on. 28-day period. The police department goes by a rolling 28-day period regarding crime. 1 week is doesn't really give you an accurate view of what's going on. So we go by a 28-day period, a rolling 28-day period. So this is for the 28-day period that ended on Sunday, September 8th. So we're doing pretty well. We're pretty much flat in robbery, 16 versus 15. We have one additional robbery than we did this period last year. We're flat with felony assaults. Felony assaults is when you strike someone with an object or a weapon, or you cause a serious physical injury on someone. There's also a lot of subcategories to that. Burglaries are up significantly, and I'll go into that in a minute. We're up 24 versus 16, an additional 8 burglaries, or they're up by 50%. Grand larcenies are down significantly. They're down 24%. That's mostly due to the mailboxes being converted to anti-phishing mailboxes. We're at about 75 or 80% completion here in Astoria for mailboxes being converted to those anti-phishing mailboxes. It takes a while to, you got to unbolt the mailbox. It has to be taken to an off-site and converted to an anti-phishing mailbox and then brought back, bolted back down, so it takes a little while. GLAs, or what we refer to as grand larceny auto, are down significantly, down 31%. Most of the ones that we're getting now, and it's just seasonal, is motorcycles. They're easy to steal, they're small. The Yamahas are the most popular, followed by Honda and Kawasaki. Some of the stuff that everybody's here at risk of becoming a victim of is credit card fraud is big. Also check fraud, bank fraud, people getting a hold of your account information. Auto break-ins. Auto break-ins happen all over the precinct, all over the city. I try to tell people, and I remind them, but I still get criminal complaints. People leaving credit cards, electronics, cash in their cars. Don't do it. I think twice about leaving a couple of nickels in my car. They will break into your car. And people leaving multiple laptops. I've had people leave thousands of dollars of cash in their car. cars. So if you own a car, you park on the street, whether you don't park, even if you park in a garage, do not leave valuables inside your vehicle. Going back to the burglaries, the reason we had a big spike, we had a parolee who was released, had a really bad drug addiction, and he was going around doing commercial burglaries, very brazen. He would throw a rock through plate glass windows. He would target those smaller commercial businesses that didn't have the roll down gates. He would throw, very brazen, would throw a rock through plate glass windows, go in. So, a couple of occasions he actually ripped the cash register off the counter and took it with him. This guy was very elusive. He was reckless. He actually rammed police vehicles in the past. We finally grabbed him a couple of weeks ago. It was a vehicle pursuit that turned into a foot pursuit that turned into a bicycle pursuit. Never had one of those before. Usually the vehicle pursuits end up in a foot pursuit and you grab them on foot. This guy went vehicle to foot to back on a bike. We grabbed him. It was basically 3 precincts were involved in this pursuit. He had been doing burglaries all across Queens North. I think a total of 4 or 5 precincts, and we grabbed him over in the confines of the 108 precinct. Great job. Hopefully he's going to go back for a very, very long time. With that, I'll open it up to any questions, if anybody has any questions.
One thing, if you could use that mic so I can go. Sure. And also before that, could you explain a little bit more about the precinct itself, its borders?
Sure.
What kind of departments that you have within the precinct?
Sure.
An overview of what services you're providing.
So the precinct covers 6 square miles. We start off on Queens Plaza North is our southern border. If you take Queens Plaza North and then it rides along Northern Boulevard to the BQE, take the BQE going, what is that? That'd be eastbound. And then we pretty much stop where LaGuardia, where that wall is, where LaGuardia Airport is. That other side of that wall, 82nd Street, I believe it is the 115. So we cover everything from that wall where LaGuardia is all the way to the East River, roughly. It's about 6 square miles. It's a very diverse precinct. We have, I always compare it to, if you were to take the 5 boroughs of New York City down and shrink it into one precinct, you'd have the 114 precinct, because we have a little bit of everything. We got housing, highways, nightlife that rivals Manhattan South. We have residential, commercial, industrial. We have power plants. So it's a very diverse precinct in landscape and in demographics. Within the precinct, we're following the NCO model. The precinct's divided into 4 sectors or zones. We call them sectors. And then each sector has 2 NCOs or neighborhood coordination officers. They kind of are a jack of all trades. They're kind of also liaisons between, they're the ones you're going to see out on the street all the time. They're kind of like the quarterback. They're the quarterback because on patrol, on every tour or shift, there's also 2 cops in every sector. Those are the guys answering the 911 calls. So the NCOs kind of quarterback all those steady sectors. So right now we are in, this is Sector Charlie. Am I mistaken, Carlos? No, we're in Sector Charlie. Yeah, Sector Charlie.
David.
Yeah.
David.
I'm sorry. Yep. Yeah, we're west of 21st Street, so Sector David.
Yep.
So right now we're in Sector David. So for example, right now you got the same 2 officers every night that work 4 to 12s, and they're always in this sector. So that allows the cops to become more familiar with the neighborhood, with the business owners, and when they see something that doesn't quite fit, they're gonna know it because they're in that sector at the same shift every day. And the neighborhood coordination officers kind of quarterback between all those 3 different tours.
Is that perfect?
Hold on, we're recording, so we'd like everybody to use the mic, okay?
Full name, please.
Hello, Spadoni. Astoria Coffee break-ins, was he responsible for that?
Yes, I believe that was one of the locations he hit. Yeah, he hit it twice, I think, also. So this guy, like I said, very, very brazen, a really bad drug habit. And hopefully, we ended up he did a total of 27 commercial burglaries, 2 GLAs or stolen autos. We were able to get probable cause on him for 3 burglaries. We also hit him with 2 reckless endangerments for the vehicle pursuits he took us on. We found out he did a felony assault where he had a road rage incident, hit someone with a ice scraper. That victim, we brought him in, he actually picked him out of a photo array. We dropped about 7 or 8 arrests, and we expect once the DNA comes back from those other locations he hit, we'll be able to drop more burglary charges on him. So hopefully we don't see him for a long time.
Hi, my name is Stacy Andrea Jacobs.
Hi.
Sorry. I have a question about your statistics. You said it's a rolling 28-day period, but that's an accumulated rolling 28-day period, and it's only in the singular 6 square mile sector that the police district covers, correct?
Correct.
So when do you do a sort of comparison across relative districts so that we can understand how certain statistics, such as the one instance that you just described where one man was responsible for multiple burglaries, how we compare across other districts and whether or not a spike in crime like that is relatively high or low across the board in Queens as a whole?
Okay, that's a good question. Generally, so we have 77 precincts in New York City. Each precinct it's a very unique. It's almost like an individual. Every precinct in the city is a unique type of neighborhood. So we don't compare precinct to precinct. It just wouldn't be fair because no 2 precincts are alike. What we do is, every borough in Queens is a large borough, so it's divided into Queens North and Queens South. Every borough has an overhead command. So here, so all the precincts in Queens North, we answer to a chief in the borough office. So they're the ones overseeing. I may not see a pattern that goes outside my precinct. That's what the borough's for. So this, for example, this burglary pattern, that was actually, we noticed the pattern. It started off as a local pattern here in the precinct, and then the perpetrator started going off into different precincts. So we have units in the department that keep an eye when crimes cross precinct borders, or even when they cross borough borders. So we have local patterns, borough patterns, and citywide patterns. So there's a lot of redundancy and a lot of specialized units in place just to make sure when crimes kind of breaking borders of a precinct or a borough.
Other questions? Aha, okay.
She's gonna ask for me.
Hi, my name's Diane Turek. Who's in charge of those stupid little moped bikes that are now run by the city that you can drop them anywhere?
Yeah.
I mean, we get alternate side parking for the cars, and then you got this bike sitting on the block for almost 3 weeks. Nobody has come to reuse it or even fix it.
Yeah.
Who's in charge of that?
Yeah, so those bikes are shortly going to be legalized by the city council. I get a lot of complaints about those e-bikes. Sometimes they're even used in robberies and other types of crimes. But unfortunately, they're on their way to being legalized. So the enforcement of those, I haven't done an operation recently, but we'll seize them. And when I seize those bikes, you get the people that never show up to these meetings. They start kind of, beating us up on Twitter when we post it on Twitter, telling us why you harassing these working people. So unfortunately, those bikes are those bicycle advocates are gaining traction, and it looks like the city council is gonna probably legalize them very soon.
But then what laws would they follow? Because I drive a car, and they're constantly cutting us off.
Right.
I also walk.
Right.
So when I'm crossing the street, not only am I looking at the cars,
Right.
I have to deal with the bike that just hit me.
Right.
And then I got these mopeds running in the bike lane.
Right.
So
right.
what kind of laws are they following?
They really don't follow they don't follow laws.
Well, what if I hit one of them?
Don't do it. So we have seized them in the past. The city's now in contract with, I think it's called Revel, is the name of the company.
Yeah.
They're coming out with a city bike version of e-bikes. So now there's going to be e-bikes that there's going to be a ride share. So the city council is in the process right now of passing a law to legalize those things. There is going to be some regulation specifically for those Revel bikes. They will have to wear helmets. There's going to be some regulation on them. So right now we're kind of in a gray area with those e-bikes. They're still illegal, but a portion of them are being legalized under that Revel company contract.
I have a question. We asked a gentleman that came, oh, I'm sorry, Anita Ned. We asked a gentleman who came to repair, and I asked him, how do you drive this? What license you need? You only need a driver's license. I said, but that's a motorcycle. I said, so if I never rode a bike, a motorcycle, I asked him, where's the helmet? He says, you open here, here's your helmet. Well, the other day I watched somebody make a turn, okay? He don't have no motorcycle license, no helmet. He made a wide turn. I was waiting for him to hit the car in the corner.
Yeah.
They don't know how to drive.
Yeah.
My opinion, a driver's license is driving 4 wheels,
Yeah.
not that.
So under New York State law, they are not motorcycles. They're not considered motorcycles. So motor vehicles are regulated by the New York State Department of Motor Vehicles. Because this company is in contract or about to get a contract from the city, that portion, those type of e-bikes that are operated by Revel are going to be regulated. You're going to have to wear a helmet. You're going to have to follow the rules of the road. There's other regulations. Basically, we're on a wait and see mode right now because we don't know what's going to happen with the rest of the e-bikes. Personally, I think the city council and this current administration is really against four-wheel motoring, and they want to move towards two-wheel motoring. So I think eventually everything's going to get legalized. The regulation hasn't caught up with the technology.
Excuse me, hold on.
Hi, Erica Heisler. Are those bikes, are the Revel bikes, are they supposed to use the bike lane or are they supposed to use the regular street? I use a city bike all the time, and when people come with a motorized thing down the bike lane on Vernon, it's like, the curves around Socrates are pretty, where should they be riding? Where should we be riding? And where can we find more information on it? Even being a biker, I find it hard. Like my friend told me, he got pulled over and issued a ticket for running a red light, but then cops have ushered me through to be like, why are you preventing cars from? Just more signage and information to find out.
You probably should go through your
legal.
local councilman's office because I believe they are, again, in contract with the city, and I was supposed to meet with them, with a representative from that company, Revel. They ended up canceling the meeting. So I'm kind of also in the gray area also. I'm not, because they canceled the meeting, I'm not sure where they are as far as regulation and actually putting these bikes out. They are going to have to follow the same rules that a bicyclist has to follow, which is be in the bike lane, yield to pedestrians, follow the signage, red lights, stop signs. They're supposed to do all that.
All right, two things. Basil, two things. You said they're supposed to be legalized soon, which is interesting. And you're telling us that they're supposed to be following the same rules and regulations everybody else. Does that mean, because somebody pointed out earlier, people who are using this system, they're just leaving these things wherever they want. Nobody bothers enforcing it when there's alternate side parking coming through, which we finally got in this neighborhood. Are they just going to be allowed to continue to just leave things wherever they want to? And furthermore, are they going to be flagrantly violating these rules and not having any sort of effect happen to them? Because people who ride bicycles are completely ignoring stop signs, completely ignoring red lights, completely ignoring helmet laws, and nothing happens to them. And yet when one of them gets killed, it's our fault, and we're supposed to worry. And the police, by the way, excuse me, but the police also, for some reason, get blamed when they actually stand there and enforce the rules on bicyclists.
Yeah.
So, much as you guys irritate me on certain things, I do appreciate that you're trying to do something with making bicyclists, now these e-cyclists, recognize that the rule of the road applies to everybody. Right. So is there any hope of that, or are we all, anybody with a car screwed?
Well, again, so most of the enforcement we do are against and I realize that bicyclists can be a danger, especially with pedestrians, but most of the enforcement that we do is geared towards motorists in conventional cars. Again, we do occasional operations where we seize those e-bikes. They are still illegal, but what I was referring to about what's going to get regulated is specifically there's going to be let's call it an exemption made for that company, Rebel. It's basically the e-bike version of City Bike. So those regulations are going to be tailored for that company. The rest of the e-bikes, just that are not Rebel e-bikes, is not part of that ride-sharing program. I don't know what they're doing as far as where the legalization is. They're currently illegal.
Right, so to follow up though, when you're saying that there's exceptions going on, is the exception going to include they can just leave them on alternate side days and nobody's going to do anything about it?
We can seize them. We can seize them. We can't issue.
No, I mean after they've been legalized.
Well, the Rebel bikes are going to have stations, just like City Bike, so that you can't just leave them.
Taking a more part.
I'm not the one. The police department has no.
I'm not yelling at you. Believe me, I'm not yelling at you. If Blasio was here, we'd all be yelling.
I know.
But he's in Iowa.
Yeah.
So.
You have to remember this started, taking roadway space away from motorists and giving it to pedestrians and bicyclists started before De Blasio. Actually started under the Bloomberg administration. He started off with the pedestrian plazas. So this is something that's been going on before De Blasio. This move to kind of take roadway space away from motorists and give it to pedestrian bicyclists. You just got to keep that in mind. It's surpassed more than one administration.
I'd like to take this quick opportunity, first of all, as everybody knows, September 16th, they are going to begin enforcement of the alternate side rules in this neighborhood. It's something that we worked on for, in total, 20 years. And we've tried to minimize the inconvenience. They are 90-minute instead of 3-hour times, basically, that cars have to be moved, and it's only once a week per side, not twice a week per side. And Nick Rollison, I'd like to thank through our Councilman Constantinides, through his Chief of Staff, Nick, for supporting us and being a driving force behind us getting this finally. And also I'd like to thank Flores Quillers and the community board members and some of the members that are here also who supported us in getting this through. So I think this is also going to give you guys a lot more tools in order to control traffic and control parking in our neighborhood. Am I not correct?
Mm-hmm.
Particularly some of the old the cars that sit there for months at a time, some of the collision shops that put their wrecks on the street.
Yeah, it also makes it a little bit more easy to spot those cars that are abandoned or being left for days upon days.
Okay. More questions? Okay.
Mine is more of a comment than a question. But Vanessa Jones Hall. Just like the gentleman over here had mentioned, someone else I think, talked about the bicycles. Now, I have been in meetings even on the board where those who are members on the board are adamant bicyclists, and that's fine. But I have witnessed this week alone, last week and in the past 2 days, as well as from last week, how many bicyclists, and I have counted 12 consecutively, where they have went down the wrong way, one-way traffic. They have went past lights, zooming past as pedestrians are crossing, where they have even wiggled all through traffic, not abiding by the rules at all. When is something going to be cracked down? And granted, I see a lot of hoopla about those who have gotten killed, and they got the numbers up, and they really pushing the fact. I'm disappointed that they took 400 parking spaces from Central Park area. That makes no sense to me. It's a lot of parking spaces are being, especially in this area, we hardly have any. I'm not against the bike lanes or what have you. It's just the fact that the massive amount of it, and I don't see a lot of them using it, especially not going by the rules. I see, like someone said, and even you mentioned, about being given a pass. That's not fair. When they are violating the rules and they put us in danger, those who's walking across the street in danger, those who are driving cars in danger because they're not abiding to the rules. And it's not fair that they can get over, and I've never seen that one time yet any of them get stopped. I've never seen that one time yet any of them be stopped and ticketed. And I think this needs to be changed.
So I'm going to schedule another operation, but there's so many of them. If I see 14, they get replaced by 30 more. And the traffic unit that I have is really concentrated on enforcement against accident-prone locations and vehicles, because vehicles are more likely to kill and maim pedestrians than e-bikes. I understand they're dangerous, they're reckless, they drive on the sidewalks. The city bikes? So if I had, and I understand that, if I had unlimited resources, which I don't, and every precinct commander in the city would love to have unlimited resources. I don't have unlimited resources, so my resources have to be placed to do enforcement against the most dangerous, which is people behind four-wheeled vehicles. So I don't have enough cops to go out there and specifically target bicyclists. If you give me a specific location, I can target that location.
How about starting over near our school zones, because I see that a lot.
Okay, that's something. If you see Officer Chacon afterward, you can also get in touch with your neighborhood coordination officer. The two neighborhood coordination officers for this area are Officer Esposito and Officer Mathis. Their emails are available online. This is the type of stuff that you can communicate with them, and they'll address it. Give them a specific location though, because this precinct's 6 square miles and there's bicycles everywhere. So you got to give them a specific location so they can target for enforcement. Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me. I just gave the mic to somebody else. Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, Patrick Boyson. I just want to talk about alternative side parking. When it's in effect, I've noticed nobody's cleaning the street. They're not cleaning. They're going to start to clean it. It's going to happen after the 16th. And then there's also some people who leave their car, and then it's impossible to clean under the car. There was even a raccoon who did nearly a nest in the car. Okay, it's how bad it is in some area, and I'm just talking about like half a block from here.
Okay, so if you have an abandoned vehicle complaint, again, you go through the neighborhood coordination officers, Officer Officer Mathis and Esposito. They tow abandoned vehicles routinely. Primarily the alternate side of the street cleaning, those are enforced by sanitation. We also give summonses, but primarily that falls under the sanitation department, their police to enforce. But if you notice an abandoned vehicle, it should be a little bit more easier now to notice, now that you have alternate side of the street cleaning here in this neighborhood. When you spot that abandoned vehicle that hasn't been moved in weeks, make sure you get in contact with your NCO so that they can go out there and get it towed.
Yes, what about the dirt bike? We have, my name is Brenda Pope.
Hi, Brenda.
We have a dirt bike out there now
Okay.
in public housing. And it's going like 11, 12 o'clock at night. Round in a circle, keeping noise.
Yeah.
Over and over.
Do you know where they store it?
No, I don't.
Because here it's very, we're not allowed to chase those motorcycles, and they always flee from us. So what we try to do is get them when they're parked. They're always illegally possessed. So you can make an anonymous tip to your NCOs of where they're storing it, and then we'll go and confiscate it. But as far as us getting them while they're driving around, it's going to be it's too great a danger for the public for us to chase them around, especially a public housing development.
Okay, all right.
Okay, anyone else?
You don't have to give your name, by the way, just call.
Okay, just the time for a couple more, because we have 2 other presenters, okay? So, maybe this and one other.
Hi, my name is Liz. Going back to the Rebel scooters, once you mentioned that they're gonna be docked somewhere.
Sure, they're gonna have docking stations just like city bikes.
So are they gonna be docked in the street, taking up parking spots,
That's
or
something
on
you're
the
gonna.
sidewalk?
That's something that I don't know. It's in a city planning phase. You'd have to probably, if you want to get more information, you have to go through the community board.
City planning. And would you know if we are gonna be able to vote where they're gonna put these docks?
Yeah. It's probably, you're probably gonna be able to explain what your preference is. I'm not sure they're gonna honor it. But that's something you have to go through your community board. It happened with the city bikes. I know exactly what you're talking about. Same thing with the city bikes. I think, the community board could probably give you more details on this. They came to some kind of agreement where not as many were placed on the street to save parking spots. Some were put on the put on the sidewalk. If you voice your opinion, if enough people voice their opinion, you could probably move some either way, so they don't all end up on the street.
Okay. In the meantime, before this becomes regulated, I park in the street sometimes. I have my own personal driveway, but I park in the street, running errands and things like that. Come back, there's a rubber scooter parked up against your car, right between two cars. You can't get out after that. What are you supposed to do?
Something like that. I mean, I don't know if that's something we can enforce as long as it's parked legally. There's no law where it says you have to park a certain distance from another car. There's certain things that aren't enforceable simply because there's no law on the books. So if they're parking too close to you, that's not, as long as they're legally parked, there's nothing we could do about that.
David Matten. I think you might have answered the question, but alternate side enforcement is handled by sanitation patrols?
Primarily, sanitation police. You'll see them going around and they'll summons.
So
we also do it if it's a chronic problem. Please.
Well, I mean, if there's a section, and I can describe where it is, the triangle at Main and 30th Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
There's at least 7 vehicles in alternate side spots that have not moved in months.
Okay.
So what is to lead us to believe that they're going to deal with these other locations now that ASP is in if they don't deal with these?
Well,
they never ticketed. One was finally towed that had no license plate. That took 7 months. But there's another 7 around that have not moved. They literally have skirts of dirt around them.
Yeah.
So you're saying that's the sanitation?
No,
Address
no,
that
no.
to sanitation?
No. We can roll toll those vehicles. Sanitation also has the ability to roll toll those vehicles.
But they're not even ticketed. They've never been ticketed.
All right. So if you have you ever let anyone know about it?
I've sent 311s in.
311s. I'd rather you go through the NCOs. It's more direct. They do it all the time. If it's what we call a derelict vehicle where it has no apparent value, it's like a shell. There's no top. Sanitation primarily. We'll mark it for sanitation. We'll notify sanitation.
These have plates on them.
They have plates. If they have plates, we can still we call it roll toll. We can roll toll them as apparently abandoned. But that's when you need to get in touch with your NCOs, and they'll go out there and they'll have it roll towed.
Okay, this will be our last question.
Erica Heisler. Real fast, there's a property that's being renovated, and they keep telling me that I can't park in front of their property, after it's done being worked on for the day. They put a cone, 2 cones in front. There's no sign that says no parking, okay. And they insisted that I cannot park there, and how these no parking signs that are not given by the city, how serious are they?
All right, so as far as I know, the buildings department does not give them any rights to reserve a parking spot. That's something, again, go through the NCOs. We'll go out there, we'll talk to the foreman and explain to him that he's not allowed to do that. If they continue to do that, then we'll get in touch. The NCOs can get in touch with, we have contacts in the buildings department. They'll go over there and they can fine them for that stuff. It's not something we would fine for, because certain things, unlike most, contrary to public opinion, we don't enforce every single law. There's certain laws that fall under other city agencies, so that would be something that the Department of Buildings would enforce. But give us a chance first to send the NCOs out and talk to the foreman and tell them, hey, you're not allowed to do this. If they continue, then we'll kind of kick it up a notch and send it over to the Department of Buildings.
Okay, well, it seems that we figured out what's an important topic for this community, so we hope that the alternate side helps. We hope that through communications, through you guys talking to the NCO officers, and it's best to email them, actually, what I found. Sometimes when you call them, it's difficult to get through.
Yeah. I'd actually prefer you go through the NCOs and call 311. Mm-hmm. We get so many 311 calls at the precinct, and the same cops that are handling are the ones that are answering the 911 calls. 911 calls take priority. So definitely, you're gonna get a much faster response if you go through the NCOs.
Sorry, who's the NCO for here?
There's 2 for every sector, so it's Officer Mathis and Officer Esposito.
They've been here many times.
Yeah. We have a steady sector here, so they're actually,
back
they're in
there?
the back, so you can speak to them also. The NCO's kind of quarterback among all shifts, so these 2 officers in the back are steady for this sector, but they only work this shift.
Would you like, I'd like you to introduce yourself.
Don't be shy, Daryl.
How you doing? How you doing? I'm Officer Allen. I'm all over the place. Sometimes in the sector, but I'm all around.
Don't take your complaints though today.
I'm Officer Wong. I'm a Secretary David. Let's cover around this area.
Okay, thank you so much. If anybody has any questions too, we have the email addresses for the, as does Florence from the community board. We can reach out if you want to get email addresses for the NCO officers. So, thank you so much for your presentation. We greatly appreciate it. Quickly, I'd like to invite George Rivera up here. We have an event coming up that we're co-sponsoring, and George is the driving force behind it, so he'd like to explain it in a second as to what we're doing.
Good evening, everyone. My name is George Rivera. I'm a business owner here in Astoria, Queens. Next Wednesday, September 18th, we are hosting an event for free CPR lessons on the 18th here on 18th Street, 2535 18th Street. However, seating is limited, so we do ask if you are interested, please reach out to Richard and let him know that you're interested in coming. The class will be for 1 hour. It's a free session. It's not for certification. It's just strictly for knowledge purpose. And yeah, the other thing is, and thank you for saying that, Richard, this is not for infants. It's only for adults. Okay? So if anybody has any questions regarding this?
Are you going to have one for infants?
I'm sorry, ma'am?
Are you going to have one for infants?
We realized how much of a demand there was for the infant CPR. So after this particular session, I think at this point we'll focus and we'll have something for infants. Also, by the way, this is in conjunction with the FDNY. There were going to be 2 medics at the location, and for 1 hour, they'll give us a free session. Okay? Thank you very much. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, George. Great idea. Okay. Next. Okay. The environment. This is something that's on everybody's minds. It's something that affects us everywhere from infrastructure to our health. And the New York City Department of Environmental Protection is tasked with controlling this part of our lives. So we've never had them down here before. So we've decided to invite Robert Oliveri to come down to discuss, give an overview of what the Department of Environmental Protection does and how you can reach out to them if you have issues. So, Robert, take away.
Good evening. Like Chairman here said, my name is Robert Olivari. With the Department of Environmental Protection. I'm a community coordinator to this community board. We break it up by community boards. So I cover 1 through 5 in Queens, all of Staten Island, and then 10, 11, 13, and 15 in Brooklyn. I work closely with Council Lee's office and the Sullivan's office. We cover mostly, our name's a little bit of a misnomer. We mostly have the purview of water and sewer operations and storm management for the city of New York. We also cover air noise violations and some odor complaints and some chemical distribution sometimes with the odor as well. Certain factories or companies that are working within the city of New York and it's disturbing residences with the odor or possible pollution complaint about it. Currently, I work in the Public Affairs and Intergovernmental Agency, Bureau of the agency, so I mostly deal with elected officials, DOT, Con Edison, National Grid. I attend monthly community board meetings with Florence and other community boards throughout the borough and the other boroughs I cover. We mostly handle the drinking water for the city, so all your drinking water comes from upstate reservoirs that we treat, making sure that they are regularly tested for federal, state, and city regulations to ensure that it's safe to drink. We also handle the storm sewers for all the cities, so we manage the rainwater and the snow melt. I'm sure you've seen our infrastructure before. It's those catch basins on the corners that the water drains into, and it goes out to an outfall. I know you have a particular issue with Shore Boulevard by the Astoria Park. A couple things to cover with that. First off, the catch basins there, certain catch basins fall underneath the purview of other agencies, depending on if it's on their property, such as if it's underneath like an overhead trestle for a train sometimes, is the MTA's responsibility. Those particular ones on Shore Boulevard by the park are the park's responsibility, but they do empty out to a CSO or an outfall that is managed by Department of Environmental Protection. Currently, we are in talks with the EPA, so the federal government, about raising this this outfall because it unfortunately gets filled with gravel very frequently from the riverbed. So we're actually filing to try to raise it up so it's a little bit higher due to the rise in the river level or sea level, which is going to be done in-house by DEP. Also, you were provided a map of the area where there's blue lines for water main work. Now, this water main work is being done by the Department of Design and Construction because it's a capital project. Capital projects are not handled in-house by DEP, they're done by the Department of Design and Construction. So if you have issues with those, or if they're disturbing your neighborhood, or there's noise complaints, or parking restrictions because of them that you have an issue with, unfortunately we don't really control the contractors there. There's usually Community Construction Liaison, or CCL, associated with it, and when you get a notice about a water shutdown for those projects, that's the person you're supposed to be calling, or if you can't reach them, then just call the Department of Design and Construction directly. Their number is online. Other areas that we cover too, or programs should I say, is we had it for a long time, the Cease the Grease program. Who here knows how to get rid of cooking oil? Anybody? Cooking oil. There we go. So cooking oil, I get the most frequent call, especially around Thanksgiving and the holiday season, is how to get rid of cooking oil. What you're supposed to do is put it into a sealed container. We suggest a coffee can or the bottle or container it came in originally, and then put it in the freezer or fridge so that way it solidifies a little bit. So that way, if it breaks for whatever reason or the top comes off, it won't spill out everywhere. A lot of times I hear that people put out the bottle on the curb next to their garbage, and sanitation does not take it. Officially, sanitation will say they're not supposed to take it because it's a container, but they really are, because the only time there's a mechanism for getting rid of cooking oil by a separate entity is when it's like a restaurant, like industrial level of like cooking oil, like gallons and gallons and gallons of it, which, I mean, I know we probably have some big family gatherings, but not that much. So you put it within your garbage, your normal garbage, not recycling, and it's supposed to be taken away by that means. Currently, that has evolved to trash it, don't flush it, which is due to what are called fatbergs. A fatberg is a buildup of garbage and oil in the sewer system. London, this first came to light in London when there was, I think, like a ton. It was a fatberg that weighed about a ton that blocked a humongous sewer and required massive excavation to get rid of it. So DEP is now implementing the Trash It Don't Flush campaign, which goes hand in hand with the Cease the Grease campaign, because it's about what's not supposed to go down the drain and down the toilets and everything like that. So Q-tips, floss, paper towels. Big one is baby wipes. I know they say flushable. Flushable just means it will go down the toilet. Toilet paper is designed to kind of dissolve with the water and also the pressure of the water. I've been to several tours of waste treatment plants, and they have these big sifters, and that's the most thing they'll catch in those sifters so they don't go out into the ocean, is the baby wipes. So please, do not throw them down the toilet anymore. Other than that, we also have an annual program called, well, the title is Rain Barrel Giveaways. The way this operates is that we contact your local elected officials, so councilman, we've done it I think twice with the councilman's office in conjunction with the assemblyman's office a couple times. It's a free rain barrel. They usually go for like about $100 some odd at Home Depot or Lowe's. We hold it from April to August, so it is seasonal because it's usually an outdoor event, so we don't really want to hold it in the winter. What you do is you find out who your local elected officials are, give them a call, see if they're planning on holding this rainbow giveaway. Then they take your name, your address, make sure you're actually a constituent or actually a homeowner. So a lot of people take these things and sell them themselves. And then they set a specific date, specific location, specific times. Usually there's a reserve list. Then after like an hour or two, it's first come, first served. Depends on the elected official. Not guaranteed for all of them. Other than that, any questions?
I'd like to start, actually, I have two questions I would like to start with. I'll take the opportunity to. Number one, we've had a constant problem over the years of actually, our water has dirt in it, okay? It's brown. That's why I have to filter everything all the time. Causes and what can be done to alleviate that situation?
Well, I'm not really sure about why there's such a massive amount of water main work going on in this neighborhood. I'm going to my second year at DEP, so I'm catching up a little bit on the history of some of the projects that are ongoing. Part of that could be due to water shutdowns caused by the water main work. They usually require a shutdown for like 8 hours, like from normal construction hours, like what, 7 to 3 or 5 in the afternoon. When the water is shut off, sediment settles in your pipes and in the city pipes. So when you turn the water back on again, all that settled sediment comes pushing out and goes through your pipes as discolored water. Usually, you have to run your faucet for about 3 minutes at most, and it should go away. If it does not, please contact your local community board, so that way they can call me. I'm the person that they call to get these things looked at a little more expediently. So they'll tell you to call 311 as well. That also is a good idea. I know people hate 311, but the way that works is that our inspectors and repair crews get an electronic ticket immediately sent to them whenever you place that call, and if the person is competent on the other line, hopefully. And then, Florence come to me, hey, I have a person on such and such intersection, they've been getting dirty water for a week now, and no matter how much you run the faucet, it's still ongoing, or however it may be, then I'll ask her for that number, and then, if we need to, I'll meet with her about this also.
I'll take this opportunity quickly though. Florence, wave your hand so everybody knows who you are. Okay, she came in late, so she didn't introduce herself. Okay. Also, the other question I had was, and I think you answered this before, we have had issues with clogged drains on the street, sewers. I mean, it's a constant problem, and it causes a lot of issues. So how can we expedite that? How can we make sure that it gets done? And we're not talking about areas that are near a train trestle or a park or something, on regular residential streets.
Do you see usually a lot of like garbage debris on top of them?
It's more some garbage, but it's more just
stuff
and dirt and
okay, so two-part answer to this. First part is the usual, like I said before, contact your community board or elected officials, 311 calls, things like that. New York City had legislation for the past 3 years issued by the city council where we were doing an annual inspection based on community boards of all the catch basins in the city. So this past June 30th, that legislation ended. So now we're on a 2-year inspection. We do react to 311 calls, so it's more expedient to call it through 311 or contact your elected officials or community boards. But that legislation has changed, so it's not as frequently inspection and cleanings as they once were. So that becomes really important. I'm not sure what the process is for lobbying to maybe change it back to the annual or not, or if that's even possible. But that's the current situation with that. Second part is, especially during the fall season, leaves fall, and then they get caught over the drain. Sanitation is supposed to respond to those calls to sweep the streets and manage the leaves on top of them, because we go more in depth to clean what falls inside. There's a hood to protect the sewer system from stuff getting into the sewer, like garbage and debris and whatever. But the leaves during the fall season, especially after that first heavy cold rain where you see the leaves everywhere, that's more of a sanitation thing, and we sometimes have to ride them a little bit to get to them, to get at it. But those are the main
Okay, so hopefully with our new alternate side parking and street sweeping that's starting, we're going to alleviate a lot of that. Hopefully.
Ideally, but even if they sweep and raise the next day and there's more, call them up again, tell them you guys have to come back out here.
Okay. One other last thing too, just so people know, he mentioned the map. This map, which was out there in front, and it's there. The areas in blue are water main works, or projects, correct?
Yeah,
and these are the ones that are ongoing right now. So if you have questions as to what that map means, that's what it's about. Okay, questions?
Remember to say your name. The gentleman over there.
Hi again, my name is Dominique Perot. I'd like to know, well, first of all, I'm going to go off track. Thank you for the alternate side of the street. My street was one of the only ones with 4, and we are happily down to 2, and it really, really happened. Thank you, Keith, and thank you, Richard. Okay, next. I would like to know why the New York City laws, noise laws, do not apply to the private carting companies. You can hear these huge trucks all through the night, at all hours of the night. And as of today, I have filed 157 311 complaints since December 21st, 2018. I have become familiar, I've spoken a few times on the phone with Miss Rollins, who's very nice and tries to do something, and Mr. Buffa, who's an inspector, but honestly, it's a cat and mouse game, and here's how it's played. When the carting trucks know or see an inspector car, they disappear, or the other game is every night, and I'm not exaggerating, I keep track, I'm a retired teacher, I graph. They come at 6:30 in the morning, they come at 2:30. Last night was 11:12, I can live with that one. But 2:30, 6:40, 3:39, you name it, I've got it. What can we do about this now that we've solved the alternate side? Let's do something about the private carting businesses who are running this city with noise all night. Listen, you can hear it. End of rant.
All right, so as I'm sure you're very well with the noise complaints, you're supposed to give a specific time on when the noise occurs. Now, what you're saying is that they have adjusted their schedule due to this, so it's not a consistent time, correct?
Run that again?
What I'm saying is that they've caught on that we're inspecting, so now they're changing the hours and not a consistent time.
It has never been the same time. There is no predicted schedule. I've got
Okay.
a three-ring binder this big with a copy of all my complaints. I print them up. Yeah, I have nothing else to do. It's about 15 minutes every day. But I'm going to fight this and I'm going to win this because this is terrible. The noise, and there are laws, and these guys do not follow them. It's a game. I mean, they've been doing it for years. I know New York City has a committee to study, and have the carting companies work in different areas or whatever. It ain't going to work. I'm still not sleeping at night.
Right. Well, what I've had done before, this is in Community Board 3, there was an issue with ice cream trucks. The rule with ice cream trucks is that they're supposed to turn off the music when they stop. So a lot of times they don't. The issue was that there was one that was bouncing from street to street to street, and we couldn't catch them. So what we had to do is we had to organize a sweep of several inspectors to go through the same sort of blocks that he was kind of circling around in. So I can speak with our air and noise division to see if we can do a sweep like that in your area. After I'm done speaking, can I take down the location?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hi, Antonella, Environmental Committee, CB1. With all the development that's been going on in Astoria, has the DEP done an analysis of how the new developments are taxing on the sewer system?
They're required, with developers required to submit a plan for how much the expected amount of waste or wastewater that's going to be coming from their facility, and then we approve that. So.
But have you guys done an analysis
Well,
of
we
how
do.
it's impacting our area?
And-
Because it's on a micro scale. When you have the developers submit a study, it's an environmental study. It's for that project itself.
Right.
But you have tons of development that's going on in Astoria. That collective impact, has DEP studied that and the impact on
Right.
the sewer system as a whole in Astoria?
So how that usually operates, how that operates, not usually, I'm sorry, I just used the word. Our Bureau for Water Treatment, BWT, they take a measurement of how much flow is coming into the waste treatment plants from just each plant with the area that they cover. I'm not sure which plant exactly covers this specific, your neighborhood exactly, but they have a policy where they measure it, the capacity for the facility to handle, basically. If it reaches above, I believe it was 65% capacity, then they do routine upgrades to the facilities so that they can take in that new amount. But so far there hasn't. I know there's a lot of development going on, not just here, but in Greenpoint, Bay Ridge, Coney Island. I mean, this is a very, very frequent question I get all over the city, not just in Astoria. But we have a monitoring system for our waste treatment plants that are taking in this wastewater, this new wastewater coming from these new developments, and we measure how much it's affecting our waste treatment plants, and if it reaches a certain capacity, then we implement upgrades in order to take in that capacity. So far, it hasn't been necessary, but near future, stuff keeps going the way it's going. Something we're going to have to explore in the future, depending on how fast that capacity level gets reached.
Do you know what it is right now?
Not offhand.
Okay. Can I have Florence follow up with you?
Sure. It might not be just for the Astoria area. I mean, like the waste treatment plant will probably take like a large section of Queens, not just this
Yeah,
part.
well, whatever is affecting us here.
Okay, I figured out what waste treatment plant services your area.
Hi, I'm Art Finnegan. Before you ask a question, I wanted to comment on your question. A lot of these big developments have sewage storage tanks, and they hold the sewage under the building, then they release it very slowly in like a smaller diameter pipe. So it's pretty efficient and it doesn't overload. You know, they release the sewage at like a smaller building's worth, so that helps a lot. Now on to another topic. In a lot of places in Astoria, I've seen these secret pipes at the curb that
PVC pipes?
Yeah, and they discharge water into the street and then it rolls down the street and into the sewer. Are those permanent sump pumps, or are people discharging like sink water into the street?
From what I understand, those were initially connected to the grain gutters of the home. There's a lot in my block where I live in Staten Island. I see them in other more residential areas. Like you're saying, it's a PVC pipe. It doesn't connect to sink water or shower water or toilet water because that would be highly illegal to be dumping that type of waste onto the street.
Well, I know that, but I've been looking at a few, and even when it hasn't rained for a week, water comes out and it bursts, and I hear like water running like in the building, like someone's taking a shower and the water's just coming out into the street, and I'm kind of worried about that. I understand if it's someone's sump pump because I know basements flood around here and people have things running,
right.
But I'm seeing like oily water coming out when in a burst when nothing's happening.
So that would be an illegal discharge. That would, if it is illegal.
I've seen that in like really older buildings, like these pipes have been in the stone curbs for like decades, but even when they've been doing street work, like changing the water lines, everyone just ignores those. They put their markings around the pipes, they leave the little PVC pipe out of the stone curb. So I
that
don't know
would
if
be
I should ask anyone about that.
That's called an illegal discharge if it's coming from a sewer. I'm pretty sure, I'm not too fully abreast of the law, but I'm fairly certain that all PVC pipes are supposed to be disconnected and use a, what's it called? Dry well. But due to the water table of your area, I'm not sure if that's a feasible thing, or they may have grandfathered in some PVC pipes, I'm not positive. But if you do believe it is connected to a shower or some sort of unsanitary discharge that shouldn't be going onto the street and people shouldn't be breathing it in or near it, or however you want to phrase it, it's called an illegal discharge. You can file that complaint and we go and we investigate that pipe, see what it's connected to. Even if the homeowner won't let us in, we can do what's called T-beam, which is where we send a camera that's on like a long wire and we just send it up the pipe to see where it basically leads to. We use it for sewers and a bunch of other stuff too, if you can't get a physical person inside.
It's a problem in the winter when it freezes.
Yeah, it's a big ice slip, right?
We have a lot of questioners.
So legal discharge, call that.
David Matton.
If everybody could keep their questions as brief and if we could get the answers as quick as possible, we have another presenter, so I appreciate it if we can do that. Thank you.
Are there any local infrastructure projects for CSO contributions from this area? Like in Gowanus, they're building a 20-foot diameter, 100-foot long tank, under there. Are there any large-scale projects in this area that are being undertaken?
Currently, the only capital projects we have ongoing are the alarming projects. I'm not sure if we're going to be going to add an underground tank at this location, but that's something I can look into. But I think that's due to a facility that's over there. The Gowanus facility requires that. But I don't think we're installing those types of tanks in Astoria.
Hi, I'm Diane. I live on 30th Road and Vernon Boulevard. 3 years ago, a new building went up. They put in an apartment complex. The sewer right on the corner, they actually dumped concrete in there. Now, when it rains, that area is completely flooded.
But DEP said it's cleared. One day we see DEP last year. No, it's cleared. But when we get a heavy downpour, we can't walk the sidewalk.
So is there anything you can do?
I'm in contact with the district managers for this area, and I can have them take another look at it. I can explain what the situation is. Also, I'll come, since you're right next to the lady before, I can come next to you and get the location as well. If it's like the northeast, southwest, east corner or anything like that, or just the intersection.
On the right-hand side corner.
It's alright, just give me the intersection, I can look up through there.
Any other questions?
I just have one question.
Yeah, who? Oh, okay.
All right, Cynthia Davis from the Floating Hospital. You mentioned something about flushable wipes. Are you guys going to do a campaign about that? Because working in a hospital with a lot of babies, that's all we do is flush, flush, flush.
It currently is ongoing. It's traffic don't flush it. You might see it on some bus signs, like at the bus. I mean, it's fairly new. We're still rolling out like the outdoor what's the right word for it? Advertising. There we go. Advertising for it isn't fully out there yet, but we will be doing advertising. It usually is shows like a kind of a green, like an animated green blob and some pipes leading towards it. It says tries to don't flush it. It has like Q-tips and other stuff coming out of the pipe. So that is coming out. It's just a bit of a process getting the funding for it, the locations where we can put up that type of advertisement, things like that. So it is an ongoing campaign. It's fairly new. I want to say it's transformed from the seeds to grease about 3 or 4 months ago, but it's still relatively new, so you might not see advertisement for it yet. I think they do have it in some locations in Manhattan, because you know Manhattan. So you will be seeing more advertisement for it coming out relatively soon.
Any other questions? Okay, we'd like to thank you so much for a great presentation.
Thank you for having me.
And also, don't forget his water bottles in the back that they donated. Grab one if you'd like. Okay. Thanks, great job. Okay, our last presenter, and the wonderful Anna from Mount Sinai Hospital of Queens. Well, she will explain exactly what they do with baby wipes.
Hi, thank you everyone.
Way worse. I used to work in a grocery store and yelled at a lot.
So thank you so much for the opportunity to be here tonight and to just share with you a couple of slides about all the changes and all the upgrades and all the services that have been added to our community hospital, Mount Sinai Queens. So in 3 years ago, about almost 4 now, the Mount Sinai Health System became what's today's 8 hospitals. It's Mount Sinai Health System, and we, Mount Sinai Queens, was actually the second Mount Sinai having the name after the main Mount Sinai Manhattan. And we have been here now, it's our 20th anniversary, and just want to thank you and the community for the support that you've given us. Mount Sinai Queens has cemented, or Mount Sinai Health System has cemented its commitment to this community by completing a project of $175 million just shy of 2 years ago. We're still doing work, we're still advancing, but we're trying to transform healthcare, not only in our community, but we're looking beyond in all Queens. We have a new physicians ambulatory pavilion, which houses our Mount Sinai doctors. We have robotic surgery that now is available here, all locally at Mount Sinai Queens, a new interventional radiology program, and a new stroke center just opened in June. So this is our new building. I don't know if you stop by to see, or come by, but it's really a beautiful facility, and it houses wonderful services. This is the main entrance to the pavilion. This is the ambulatory entrance where you go and come and go and see your doctors. And this is the entrance to our new emergency department. I know. Well, that's the idea, no? That it looks like a place that you want to come and feel, well, just by walking in. And the idea is with the new program that we have is a split flow where they try to triage you as soon as possible so that people are not actually waiting in the waiting area. So these are some of the halls, and of course they're now all full and patients but one of the beauties is if I don't know if you're familiar, we went from an 18 square foot of space emergency department to now it's 20,000. So it's really amazing. You have private rooms. We have a trauma room. And we have its own dedicated ambulance base where the ambulance comes and just brings the patients directly into the emergency room. So it's just a phenomenal. And we also have an area that is also dedicated to pediatrics. So surgical suites are new. Actually, many physicians, many surgeons that we share from Mount Sinai Hospital, they can do surgery here, or they can do surgery at Mount Sinai Medical Center, or they can do surgeries at Mount Sinai West, or any of the other facilities. But one of the things that we hear a lot from surgeons is that this is a national room, and they just love it because it's brand new, it's state of the art, and they actually rather do surgeries here. And these are some of the staff, some of the recovery area, what they call PACU. So some of the things that we've brought up also are high-tech imaging services. So right now, if you need your, anything from your mammogram, X-ray, PET scan to MRI, we also have in the emergency room dedicated scan services and X-ray. For the emergency room, we have an outpatient area and we have an inpatient imaging. So you have now 3 different areas that are dedicated to help also expedite any visits. One of the things that is new to us is also pediatric services, outpatient, as well as a dedicated area in the emergency department. So right now, if a child is brought in by the parents or family member, when they walk in, we have a dedicated area session for peds. And then we also have our pediatricians. We have 45 physicians in this area. We have three pediatric physicians to practice. And they're all part of the faculty at this Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai. These are some of our physicians at Mount Sinai, doctors, and very diverse, very reflective of the community that we serve. And we're very proud of that. They both have privileges to practice anywhere in the health system. And this is just, to show you how much we've grown and how much is offered right now. Some of the new services are bariatric surgery. We have a dedicated breast surgery center. We have a new infusion center. We have a state-of-the-art stroke center. And head and neck surgery, you name it, we really offer a lot. And all of that is housed in the new pavilion. The 4th floor is for our primary services. The 5th floor is specialty services, and of course the 3rd floor is for the operating rooms. And of course, we've done a lot of advances, and thank you to the coalition of the council coalition here in Queens, and to our council member Costa. We were able to secure a robotic surgery, a robot to perform robotic surgery, and that is really wonderful. And some of the conveniences of robotic surgery is, less smaller incisions, less time to heal. It's just less invasive. And it takes, you heal quickly, and that's what people want. They want to come in, they want to have surgery, they want to feel better, go back to their regular life. And so also we talked about interventional radiology, also minimizing some of the time that it takes for a patient to be in the hospital, or how invasive surgeries are. It could be minimally done. And we have it all offered right at Mount Sinai Queens. I think go to the next one. So the last thing I want to mention to you is that we are very, very proud. We are certified by both the Department of Health and Joint Commission. We probably are the only stroke center in Queens that is actually certified by both. Many are by the New York State Department of Health, but I think we are the only ones who are certified by the Joint Commission. We have now service 24 hours, 7 days a week, just dedicated to patients who present to the hospital with stroke. We have a beautiful suite that we just opened in June. We have a specialized procedure that's called thrombectomy, which was the first one performed here in Queens. It's a very specialized way to treat blood clots in our brain, and it's really done a lot of I would say almost like medical work. And I have a picture here that I'd like to show you what someone came to our hospital, and before having the thrombectomy, this is what she looked like, okay? And that's her almost 3 weeks or 4 weeks after the procedure. So it was amazing. This is a very specialized service, and we are making a mark not only here in Queens. We are the only center here in Queens, but I think the model of this work is going to be national. I think we have very specialized equipment that is, I think only us in Australia have it. So we're very proud of that. So thank you so much for your time, and if you have any questions.
Okay. Thank you, Anna. Okay, let's start with somebody with a floating hospital.
Oh, great presentation, Cynthia Davis. Question, so limited, sometimes when you go get your mammogram, you have to get a sonogram if it's a false positive. Are these scanners 3D?
So, yeah, that's a good question. So now we have what's the standard mammogram, and we have the 3D. Right now, this is, what we have here is really state of the art. And then if, let's say, you need more specialized mammogram done through, let's say, an MRI, then we have the Dubin Breast Center at Mount Sinai Hospital that has that as well. But most of them are digital, and they're pretty.
Yeah, because I know EMU up in, I think it's Redwood in Queens, they have the 3D to eliminate the sonograms. They do it now. It's supposed to be the first 3D sonogram machine that was looking at it.
Yeah, so that one is at Mount Sinai Hospital at the Dubin Center.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Question? Next question.
Oh, and by the way, we do offer free mammogram or breast health screening for patients, women or men. Also, we've had in our clinic that don't have health insurance or underinsured. It's a program that we do in affiliation with the Cancer Service Program, and we also received a grant from the Rachel and Rudy Foundation to help, especially younger women that don't qualify before 40.
That's a good thing.
So if you're interested, I'll be happy to give you information.
Hi, my name is Dominique again. Great presentation. As a longtime resident, I knew the hospital as Astoria General, and what an improvement. It's beautiful to walk by. I've had many sad experiences there with an elderly mom, and I remember that tiny emergency room. And I did have the opportunity to take her to the brand new one. I joked with her at one point and I said, Mommy, you wanted to see the new place, right? Anyway, you guys are wonderful, and like I said, it's beautiful to walk by, it's beautiful to be inside, and everybody's really nice and wonderful, smiley inside. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for, we're trying to be the best neighbors we can. We have work to do. It's what we wake up every day to do. We think about you. We think about how every day we can improve and just be better. The hospital or the system has really made an investment in the community because, and I'm speaking for myself, I worked at the hospital since 2005, and and I see the progression myself, and it's amazing what's happening, and we're still trying to do and be better every day. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrick Boyson. I received some documentation about are you doing insurance, supplementary insurance, Mount Sinai for supplementary to Medicare. I've noticed there is are you aware of that?
So there is Mount Sinai has entered into some sort of collaboration with Health First for Medicare, but right now it's only in Manhattan.
It's only in Manhattan.
Yes, it potentially is going to spread maybe to other boroughs, but right now we started with Manhattan.
Okay.
But if you have questions, I could provide you with the information for our patient financial services, and they can guide you through. And then again, it's not that we're going to own it, but we do have affiliations. I know there is another insurance that is coming to Queens as well, that is going to be available as well as partners. Not that we own it or run it, but that we collaborate. Is another co-insurance.
Thank you.
Other questions? Yes.
Do you offer outpatient services like for MRIs and
Name?
My name is Doros Evangelidis.
Yes. So, all these doctors and all these services are part of our ambulatory pavilion. So let's say that, God forbid, you go to our emergency room, we discharge you, we say, well, you need to see a primary care doctor, right, who's going to manage your care. So we have physicians that we can connect you, and we'll give you an appointment to the 4th floor. So when you see, well, but you also need a cardiologist, or you need a rheumatologist. So we have those doctors on the 5th floor. But you need blood tests, we have them on the 2nd floor. Do you need imaging? We have them on the 2nd floor. So we have in one building, in one facility, you have all the services that you need, from your imaging, primary, specialty services, you name it, we have it here. It's nice that we have an electronic medical record, Epic, which is actually, any physician in any of the 8 hospitals in the system can see your medical record. So everybody will know what your history is, what medications you are on. And so it's nice because we can see, we can know about you. And all the doctors can know about your condition.
Other questions? Okay. Thank you so much, Anna. Great
Thank you. It's a great pleasure to be here.
I think
the last thing I want to say is that as the director of the community relations, one of the things that we're very proud of is a number of free community education programs that we offer. And we have one coming up September 25th, which is a free cholesterol screening at the hospital. And we have one on the 28th in Long Island City at the Gantry Park. It's going to be from 12 to 3. So we have yoga classes, we have nutrition classes, so we do have all these free programs for the community as well. Because our goal is to keep you healthy so that you don't have to use our facilities. Thank you so much, everyone.
Well, one thing I'd like to say is that healthcare and facilities like this is a barometer of a community and how it's growing, and we greatly appreciate what's been done. The change from Astoria General to Western Queens to Mount Sinai is astronomical. So thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Listen, a couple of things I wanted to mention. First of all, next month, tentatively, because our schedules can change, but tentatively we will have Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney will be joining us to discuss what's going on in Washington. So that is subject to change because the schedule can change quite a bit. And then in November we'll have Assemblywoman Kathy Nolan, again subject to change. Also, you know, as this organization matures, pretty soon you'll be getting notices out. We are going to start actually having fundraisers. It reaches a point when we can use the extra funds. We've never really asked for that in the past in order to grow and to provide more services. So we hope that you enjoy what we've done and what we've built, and I hope you can contribute down the road. So with that, I'd like to also thank some of the people that have helped us today. Adela Herrera in the back, who's helped us quite a bit. And also, all those flyers you received, there's a guy that trudged around everywhere from Ditmars all the way down to 36th Avenue and put a flyer in every house, wherever he's hiding right now. But Yesid Rodriguez, or Hernandez, excuse me, is here somewhere. Okay. Also, Victor Prado, helping us out. And also, where he's hiding, George from the Wilson Pinella photography on Astoria Boulevard, donating their time, so we greatly appreciate that. Again, he finally came. I've been asking this guy for 5 years to come join us. Nick Rollison from the councilman's office, we greatly appreciate him joining us. And Wael from Arabella Simontas' office. Again, if you have any questions, please reach out to us, okay? We can guide you in the right directions. And we're very, very proud of the fact that we got the alternate side parking. That took 20 years. And we're looking forward to the rollout on September 16th. And with that, last thing, I'd like to thank St. George's Church for providing this facility. There's Jesse. Okay, wave to everybody. He walked the streets for us. So again, we'd like to thank St. George's Church for donating this space. We hope to see some of you at the CPR event coming up. And with that, good night. Drive home safe, please. Walk home safe. Thanks.